Homemade cookies during the holiday season fill the house with incredible smells. Cranberries and orange combined with white chocolate in a sugar cookie dough creates a baked indulgence worthy of the season. Today I'm really excited to share my white chocolate, cranberry, and orange holiday cookie recipe. The next video will be a gluten-free, vegan-friendly version of the same cookie. Thus, regardless of who you invite to your holiday gatherings this season, you can please most anyone with the same treat. For the ingredients, you'll need all-purpose flour, baking soda, salt, butter, granulated sugar, brown sugar, eggs, orange extract, orange zest, dried cranberries, and white chocolate chips. So we begin by preheating the oven to 375 degrees, and then you're going to line 2 baking sheets with parchment paper or silicone mats. I prefer to use the paper for easy cleanup. And then set them aside. To a medium bowl or large bowl, we're going to add 300 grams, which is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 grams, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 3 grams, a half a teaspoon of salt. Then we're just going to give this a quick little stir to mix up and disperse all the ingredients. To a large mixing bowl or stand, if you want to use your stand mixer, we're going to add 226 grams, which is 1 cup or 2 sticks of softened butter. If your butter is not room temperature soft, you can tell because look how soft it is just by putting in a spatula. If it's not room temperature soft, then just dice it up, put it in the microwave for about 10-12 seconds until it softens up. And then we're going to use the mixer, and you're going to turn it on to medium speed until your butter is nice and smooth. Okay, that looks pretty smooth to me. Okay, so now we're going to add 100 grams, which is a half a cup of granulated sugar, and 96 grams, a half a cup packed brown sugar. And now we're going to blend those together until well combined and smooth. Okay, butters and sugars are nice and combined. So now we're going to add 2 large eggs. I'm going to crack one at a time and put it in a separate bowl just to ensure that I don't have any shells in my cookies. Okay, so that's my first egg. Okay, for my second egg. Okay, just pour that in as well. No need to beat since we're about to mix it anyway. And for that needed orange flavor, a little extra, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of orange extract. We're going to mix again until the mixture is smooth and fluffy. All right, check that out. Our mixture is all nice, smooth, homogenized, and fluffy. I'm finishing up zesting my orange. And I like to create flavors in my recipes, as you've been able to tell. And so for this, we're going to have a couple of layers of orange. So we have the orange extract in the batter. And then we're adding the orange zest from 1 orange. This is 1 tablespoon. I like to layer my flavors because that way you get a little bit of flavor in every bite. So for this cookie, it's actually not going to be very strong in orange flavor, but you will get a hint of it in every bite of your cookie. So after adding the orange, I'm just going to turn the mixer on low and just mix until it combines. We're going to be able to see little speckles of orange in our cookie from the zest. I love being able to see those little orange specks throughout. Okay, so now we're going to add the flour mixture to the butter mixture here. So this was what we'd mixed with the salt and the baking soda. I'm going to change utensils here, use a sturdier utensil. We just want to stir this until the flour is combined with the butter. We don't really need to develop any gluten in this recipe, so we just want to stir it, not overmix it. If you're using a stand mixer, just turn your mixer on until the flour and the butter are all combined. So now we're going to add in 160 grams, which is 1 cup of dried cranberries, and 120 grams, which is 3/4 of a cup of white chocolate chips. Just fold in the mix-ins until they're combined with the dough. Okay, that's it of the recipe. Now it's time to put them on a cookie sheet and bake. So if you've ever made cookies and you get frustrated with the paper sticking up, you could always take a little bit of cookie dough, place it in each corner of your baking dish, and then press the paper down on top of it, and it will stick. And that way it keeps your paper flat and flush with your cookie sheet. I don't always do this, but if you want to avoid your cookies from sort of popping up, at least the ones on the edge, that's how you can do that. So it's more for a visual appeal than anything else. So I am using a small cookie scoop for these cookies. And I do like to make small cookies, particularly around the holidays. And you want to space them about 2 inches apart because they will spread. And the reason for the smaller cookies is because, one, you're getting lots of cookies during the holidays. If you're like me, I want to taste a little bit of everything. So I'd rather have a smaller bite than a larger bite. But you can make these larger too. Also, it gives you more cookies to give away to your friends and family without having to make multiple batches if you use smaller quantities. This batch makes about 60 small cookies. Our first batch of small cookies are ready for the oven. In the oven the cookies go, we're going to bake them for 12 minutes or until the edges are set and the bottoms are lightly brown. And in the meantime, we'll continue to scoop out our cookie dough and place it on the cookie sheet to bake. If you want a batch of larger cookies, I'm doing a pan of those so you can see what they look like. And basically, I just sort of double the size of my smaller cookies. So that's an option too. And then just sort of form them into a nice little round. So when they bake, they'll be more of a round, a circle instead of a wacky edged cookie. First batch of cookies, hot out of the oven. We're gonna allow them to cool in a pan for about 2 minutes, and then I'll transfer them to a cooling rack so they can cool completely. While this batch is cooling, we're ready to bake another batch. After your 2 minutes, then go ahead and place the cookies on a cooling rack. In fact, you almost don't even need a spatula. They come up that easily. It's another reason why I like to use parchment paper. All right, you have a batch of small cookies and a batch of larger cookies. So I just cooked the larger cookies 1 minute longer than the small ones. So take a look at each. Notice you could spot the red cranberry, you could spot the white chocolate chips, and even little specks of orange throughout the cookie, and that's from the orange zest. Nice and brown on the bottom, not too dark. They hold their shape, the top. So if you break into one, it's gonna be a nice, chewy cookie. Beautiful holiday coloring on the inside. So that's the small one. Let's look at the bigger one. Again, beautiful coloring of the holidays on the inside. Regardless of large or small, I think anybody would be happy with this cookie. Now, if you wanted to add a little flair to this, a little more holiday-like, melt some white chocolate according to your white chocolate's package directions, and then you can just drizzle some chocolate over the top. You could just use a fork. It's not going to be as pretty, but it gets the job done. It's helpful to have a cookie sheet under your cookies if you decide to drizzle over some white chocolate, because the white chocolate will fall onto the cookie sheet and not your counter. You could also place your white chocolate into a bag or piping bag and then just pipe it over the cookies. The smell of the holidays is all around. Store these cookies at room temperature for a few days. They will dry out as they sit. However, if you've never tried it, you can add a piece of regular white bread to a cookie jar with the cookies, and the moisture in the bread will keep the cookies from drying out. Or do as I do, store them in a freezer bag in the freezer until you're ready to consume them. The house is full of the holidays visually with the white chocolate and the cranberries and smells of baking and orange. We really enjoy these cookies and hope you do as well. Stay tuned for my gluten-free and vegan version of the same cookie. I look forward to sharing that one with you as well. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, bake a batch of holiday cookies and go bake the world.